Hi, welcome to today's Piece of Peace. Starting again with a mindset of gratitude. Taking our mind, focusing our mindset on what brings us joy, what we are thankful for, what brings us peace, and bringing our heart rates down through that, bringing our pulse down through our blood pressure, and keeping our mind in a positive mindset. So my hearts of gratitude this morning, as I'm cranking open the window and sitting in this beautiful area that I get to read and engage with God, get to read about and engage with God in. I'm hearing the crickets and the dissipation of traffic, and I love that peaceful spot, like almost breathing that in, breathing that in, that peace. I was thankful for putting collagen in my coffee and my coconut creamer this morning. Friend turned me on to that. Love that. I'm thankful for the conversation with my son yesterday. They found out that they're having an Isaac and a little boy, which I'm so excited about. And that I got to hear from a dear friend who used to live with us, who now has moved out of state, and hearing her and her husband's voices over the phone were sheer delight. Talking to another friend whom I was on the phone with when my son called to talk about finding out they're having a little boy and how excited she was. That was gratitude for just that sharing of that joy. And how my granddaughter called my husband and told him about her new baby brother. Very exciting news. Hearing that we get to have our sweet little granddaughter over the weekend, I love that. It fills us with joy. I had gratitude for peace. I had gratitude for my trust in my God. I had gratitude for God's presence with me in the midst of coming to talk to him that morning. And we started a banter of dialogue, the Lord and I. I said, is there anything you want to say to me, God, before I dive into your word? And he says, that I love you. And I said, my mind keeps wandering, like I can start looking at something and then my mind goes to other thoughts. And he responds to that and says, I know, but some of what you're focusing on draws your attention back to my presence, like nature and beauty. Practice this throughout your day, he says, drawing your attention back to my presence. Whisper my name, Jesus, and invite me into dialogue with you. As you practice this throughout your day, you will bring my never-ending presence into your awareness. So it's just like trying to go, Lord, inviting him into my day. Look at what I'm looking at. Where are you in this? He says, I am right beside you at all times. This will allow you to experience that truth throughout your day. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. You're my daughter, a daughter of the Most High King, my beloved. And he says that to each of us. Draw your attention to my already never-ending presence in your life, because it'll bring me to your awareness. Draw your attention to me. Invite me into dialogue with you. Invite me into your day. Every time you start to think about something, invite him in, like he's standing right next to you, because he is. And include him in his never-ending presence into your awareness throughout the day. That brought me to our devotion. So we're going to be reading out of a devotional study by Our Daily Bread. You can download that app. You can order those booklets online. Today, the devotion was written by a gentleman named James Banks, and he titles it Living on Purpose, which one of my favorite scriptures is in Romans. And then we're going to start in 12, verse 9 through 21. And I'll start by reading. Love must be sincere. Hate what is evil. Cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Honor one another above yourselves. How many of us are doing that right now? When everybody's beating each other up on social media. Honor one another above yourself. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor. That one stood out to me. Never lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor. And the next one stood out as well. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Share with God's people who are in need. Practice hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another and do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Do not be conceited. Do not repay anyone for evil. Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Do not take revenge, my friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, "It is mine to avenge, and I will repay, says the Lord." On the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head. And this is the verse that is one of my favorites. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And that brings us into the devotion where he writes, James Bink starts by saying, "We're going on vacation," my wife enthusiastically told our 3-year-old grandson Austin as we pulled out of the driveway on the first leg of our trip. Little Austin looked at her thoughtfully and responded, "I'm not going on vacation. I'm going on a mission." We were not sure where our grandson picked up the concept of going on a mission, but his comment gave me something to ponder as we drove to the airport. As I leave on this vacation and take a break for a few days, I'm keeping in mind that I'm still on a mission to live each moment with and for God. Remember before I started reading the devotion how God was just like, include me in. Speak my name, Jesus. Include me in on the dialogue of the day. My never-ending presence. Bring that to your awareness, where he says, I live each moment with and for God. I am remembering to serve him in everything I do. The Apostle Paul encouraged the believers living in Rome, that capital city of the Roman Empire, to never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor, serving the Lord. His point was that our life in Jesus is meant to be lived intentionally and with enthusiasm. Even the most mundane moments gain new meaning as we looked expectantly to God and live for his purposes. As we settle into our seats on the plane, I prayed, Lord, I'm yours. Whatever you have for me to do on this trip, please help me not to miss it. Every day is a mission of eternal significance with him. His charge to us was this: have you ever been on a mission? How can you make life all about God? And his prayer was this: please give me grace to live for you, Jesus, so that I may one day hear you say, well done, good and faithful servant. And the pieces that stood out to me here were that our life in Jesus is meant to be lived intentionally and with enthusiasm. How many of us can go through our day and allow things to happen and things don't seem intentional and they're less than enthusiastic? I could say today, I was just like, Lord, I said, this seems like a routine-ish kind of thing. And I invited him in at that moment. And I said, you want to speak to me about that? And he's like, and he starts rattling off tons of things that I could be grateful for in what the routine was for that day. What it wasn't, things that were happening that he's dismissed me from. And it was just like a whole change around on how he grabbed a hold of my perspective on it. It was beautiful. And then even the most mundane moments gain new meaning as we look expectantly to God and live for his purposes. He gives us new life in what he's asking us to do. Lord, I'm yours. Whatever you have for me to do on this day, please help me to not miss it. I don't want to miss a moment of what he has for me. As he says, include me in on it. Include me in on your dialogue. Include me in on your steps for today. This is where we start to draw in close and realize that he's bringing an awareness to us that he has a never-ending presence right beside us. And there's our piece of peace for today. God bless you.